Hello, traders. How you doing out there? This is William Wheeler once again from InvestCurb Real Estate Stocks, and on the line with us today we have We're Geeks Solutions, Seth. Hello, traders. How you doing out there? This is William Wheeler once again from InvestCurb Real Estate Stocks, and on the line with us today we have We're Geeks Solutions, Seth Melendez, CEO and founder. So I know we show a lot of the videos, but we just wanted to actually give you a one-on-one with Seth so you can see more about where he's coming from and his intake on the market and IT for today. So how you doing, Seth?
How you doing, Will? I'm all right. How's it going today?
Oh, everything is great. Everything is great. Thank you very much. So I
Just
want.
one correction, I am president, not CEO.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I've always known you to be the man, so you're still a man, as always. So, but I wanted to talk to you in regards to, I mean, I've been showing a lot of your videos, and I thank you for the authorization for giving me, some of your talks that you have yourself, your podcast as well, to present to our public, because I think that information is always key. We're in a technical world now, so you can't live without it.
As we say, it's all about data, and that's the one common denominator, regardless of the vertical industry. Data is king. So that's ultimately our goal. Your data protection is our first responsibility.
Okay, definitely. Now, speaking about data protection, what is your main key insights that you tell your customers for data protection?
Well, data protection, and then some people get it confused. Data protection is about safeguarding your data from unauthorized access, meaning your business list, your procedures, your process, your policies, your user data, whatever clients you have in their data, like I said, your internal business data and your employee data. You want to keep those things safe, and then also your personal data. You want to make sure all those things are safe. Privacy is about data that's collected, what information you give to people, like over browsers, things like that. So it's totally separate fields, but a lot of people confuse the two. But data protection is about keeping your number one asset safe. Privacy is a totally separate beast. It's not that one is more important, but we believe the foundation starts with data protection and works our way upward from there. So once we do that, then we can go about making sure that your business can grow on a sound foundation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, with a lot of companies today, opening, closing, opening, closing. I mean, I know we're living in a very strange time, something that we are definitely not used to living in. How do you see these companies actually protecting their data with maybe employees getting fired, which is probably a good topic, or some employees just not coming back to work, and that information is out there open, if you understand what I'm saying? And some of these offices are actually closed. So, I mean, it's a lot of passwords that are unprotected and so forth and so on, which I know a lot of businesses have to be careful with hacking and stuff like that. What's your take on that?
Well, right now we're in a change, a shift. The shift that we're in would most likely take 3 remote work, the companies that were lingering on for a while that should have went away, in the sense that they were already on the downs. A lot of retail companies were on the downswing. They hadn't changed their infrastructure. They hadn't changed their whole model. And it would have taken them three, wounded deer that should have died a long time ago, but it's just festering on. So a lot of the economy is being shaken up. Things that would have shaken out 3 to 5 years from now just happen now. It just put a rush. With the cap in spending, people reduction in spending. A lot of these companies just couldn't keep up. They thought they can stretch it out another 3 to 5 years or change models. Didn't happen. So what you're seeing now is just a natural progression in business in general. It's just that it's hastened because of COVID. A lot of these companies were unprotected financially in a lot of different ways, and so they're gone. They're going away. The companies that are going to survive it are companies that were already on the buck. They thought they can edge of technology or embracing technology. It may be tough. They may have to slim down a little. Some may go through some reorganization in certain ways. But the end of it is the ones that were able to adapt quicker and the ones that can absorb this hit are the ones that were efficient, the ones that are able to leverage and utilize technology to move ahead. So that's what you're going to see. And there are companies that are going to come out of this, smelling like roses. We see a lot of the communications companies like, Zoom, Skype, all those, they're going to come out with a lot. Microsoft has a new teamwork. Google's doing a bunch of stuff. I know Zoho's created stuff for, communications and things like that. So there are companies that were using remote workers already. And there were some that were really heavily into remote workers, 8% of their force. So they took this and kept moving. Nothing changed.
Okay.
Those that had less than 80%, some had 50%, it took a little bit of work. And they rebuilt their restructure, slowly moved their people out to remote. They're going to survive. The ones that had less than 10% remote workers are the ones that are going to feel the pain coming through this. And who knows what happens as they come through this. They weren't prepared.
Yes.
Unless they have a plan for it. And that's where we'll talk about stuff that later. But if they planned for it, they knew it might come, and they started planning for it, then there's an option those people might come out of it. So right now we're in a new age. Things are constricted. You have to do more with less. They're just little things you have to do differently, and some clients have done that. We had to do the same thing. We had to, work with clients, do more for them, really push and get, the quality of work out. And at times you realize, look, we have to do right by our customers, and some of them may not pay us for a while, but we can still make it through and give them time to breathe. And we've done things and brought in things to help customers and clients make it through this time.
Wow, that's a good point you just brought up too. I mean, with amidst of the COVID, are you seeing a decline in business because a lot of companies are not making the money they used to, or since these the PP funds were distributed, are you seeing an uptake in business? And besides that, do you provide some sort of business payment plans to help these people out, or business owners, I should say?
One of the things we did bring in, we brought the ability to finance some of the work that you want to do instead of waiting or not protecting yourself. What we did was found a way to bring in financing so that you can now do the work, and even though you may not, you're not bringing in all the accounts. Payables are not coming in at all, but at least you did the defer some of this stuff for a little while, or stretch it out over the next year, so that you could still get the work done now. It's like if you find a way to get a car, your car breaks down, and you find a way. Somebody says, okay, you can stretch this out, low interest rate. It may work for you, and then in the long run, you pay off the loan and make sure you keep getting the work. And so, in other circumstances, some people may look at this. When you look at financing in a good economy, it works because capital budgets versus operational budgets. It can help you, bridge that gap, or if you need something that's more immediate, you put it into the capital expenditures, things like that. But with the times that they are, this becomes operational at times. You're not getting any funding in. All the budgets you set up are gone. So this actually goes straight into operations for a lot of the things that they need done. They'll support, making sure that they, increase their security, push out their envelope. Because one of the biggest things is this: companies moved into remote. They pushed out the edge of their envelope and what they can do. So meaning that their their employees were outside the envelope of their networks. So when they extended that, how do we push that out? And now there's more surface for people to attack. And so you don't know what router they have. You don't know what internet service they have. You don't know anything about their security at home. And now you're taking consumer. You went from commercial equipment to consumer equipment at home, and now that's leaving the door open. It's like having an old creaky wooden door in your super new factory. It just doesn't make sense. So that's where people were moving in that direction. Financing is one way. People were obviously the PPP was helping a lot. There are customers that shut their door for a while. They weren't doing business. Some were precluded from doing business because of COVID. If you have to be there physically, some were precluded from doing it. Some changed and altered. There were a lot of breweries. They started making hand sanitizers because they had to make money.
Wow.
Yeah,
and Jersey's big for that, right? Yeah, definitely. Jersey's big for that.
So, say that again?
No, I was just saying, I know when you was talking about a lot of companies having to switch to making hand sanitizers, which is very important. Don't get me wrong.
That went into making masks.
Yeah.
Because that's what they had to do. One, you survive. Two, you can get loans and grants and whatever else from the government quickly. And it kept your employees working.
Yeah.
And they just instituted protections. They were excluded. They were what do they call them? Essential workers because of that type of stuff. Now they could get their people into work when most places were shut down, and they can keep the employees working because with the bars and the restaurants closing, there was no, and then a lot of other places and stores, there was no need. There was the demand for liquor and alcohol dried up. So a lot of breweries and distilleries just started changing over. Same thing with places that were doing T-shirts. Any type of textile company, a lot of them shifted over into making masks. At least out here, what I knew of in my general area in Central Jersey, that's what I was hearing, and what was going on in New York. The companies are just doing it, and
yes.
There were other companies doing similar things, shifting over, because that's what they had to do to keep their doors open, else they would have died. There was even a high-end steakhouse down in Florida. I was talking to a friend of mine. He pointed me to, and I thought it was an amazing story. The owner, high-end steak, selling steaks $50, steakhouse. What he did was he started selling his whole inventory wholesale, making a small profit, and literally just putting the bags outside for people to come pick up.
Oh, definitely.
Not only were they buying steaks, they were buying fruits and vegetables, so it expanded. So in a sense, he started a market. He started putting fruits and vegetables in there, all the stuff that he had, to get rid of all his inventory, and then they started requesting more. Hey, you got milk, you got eggs, you got this. So then he went back to his purveyors and was like, hey, give me all that stuff. And he started selling it. There was in these markets where people originally couldn't get into supermarkets. They were going here, and this guy had everything available for them. So he shifted, and was able to keep his employees working.
A change in the business to stay alive.
He just said, look, I got to get rid of inventory or going bad. So he said, let me get rid of the inventory, and I'll make money there. Then he realized that there was a market, and he just kept expanding it. Now he said, get back to normal, he's going to keep his market.
Got you.
Because it generates income for him, and people love these, these great hand quality steaks that he gives at his restaurant. They take it home and they cook it, ribeyes, porterhouses, all this stuff, and he's giving them a fraction of the cost that they would normally get it for, wholesale. So he was getting him really cheap, and he was able to make a small profit, keep his people working, and he didn't have to go and lay anybody off. So it was a great idea, and you're hearing that type of ingenuity in a lot of places. You had pizzerias that were selling dough. You take the dough and the sauce they give you little kits, and you go and make your own pizzas at home, and they sell you the kits. You and your kids and everybody can make pizzas.
Wow,
so
next
they can
level.
get rid of inventory. They couldn't do delivery, but you can get the pizza dough and they're all the little kits, make your own pizza. And that's what a lot of places are doing, so that people, you want chicken parm, here's all the ingredients for chicken parm, make it at home.
Yeah.
The rest of we give you enough for, let's say, 3, and then the people would take it home. They
Wow.
stop in front of the restaurant, they would leave it out front, they pick it up and go home.
Next level, right?
So, it's just ingenuity. Some people, they look at a problem and they see a solution.
Exactly.
And so, and they come up with that solution, and it continues their business. This is where you can't just give up.
Well,
we've never been through this type of calamity with, COVID,
Hey.
any type of virus. We've had some issues before with
Hello.
flu and things like that, but not on this level.
well, speaking
Hello.
about COVID, right? Let me ask you this question. And speaking
Yo.
about COVID, right? Donald Trump has been on television saying, China had a lot to do with COVID, and right now they've been talking about TikTok with cybersecurity threats and things of that nature. And being that you're actually in that direction of IT, let's say, right? What do you think about the cybersecurity and the effects of China?
Well, I don't know too much about this whole whether COVID came from there, was it purposely done. We hear a lot of different things. I don't know. But the reality is it doesn't matter where it came from. There's always been rumors about Lyme disease. Remember that? I don't know if you heard about it. It came out of a facility in Long Island. There's things like this. Governments are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and sometimes they get out. Does that excuse China? No. Because other governments don't. But can we prove that? No, we can't prove that yet. There's a lot of accusations and suppositions. Nobody knows. But when we get into China and TikTok, the reality is all social medias are monitoring you. All social medias are listening to you. All social medias are capturing your information and your data, what you do, and you give them permission. TikTok is no different. Some do it more than others. How many times do people do the rumors? And I just did it the other day. I was actually online with my looking at some specific items for the house, and next thing you know, on Facebook, and I was on the computer, and next thing you know, I'm seeing the same things on my Facebook, and I showed my wife. All of a sudden, I'm seeing that stuff in my feed, and then, I was on, I was doing some stuff with updating a product yesterday, updating the license before it expired, the subscription, and later on that day, I started seeing it in my Facebook feed. So, how many times have people said Microsoft is listening? How many times have people said Google's listening? How many times you hear, Amazon is listening, Amazon and Apple. You say something, and then an hour later, it shows up in your feed. Are they listening to you? We don't know. So I don't think TikTok is any worse or better. I know people are more concerned because they're from China. Does that company really controlled by China? I don't know. I don't know how that mechanism works over there. I know but we have other companies that come from China. What is it, Huawei, and a few other ones that there are a lot of people excluding their equipment from, security conscious areas or, classified areas, things like that for government, which is smart. But the reality is 90% of the products that are in these things, whether you buy them in the United States or the American companies, come from China. You know, for years everybody kept saying that, you know, the networking chips were hacked already. That they actually embedded, you know, just backdoors for China. That the CPUs are doing the same thing. So regardless of what, you can't get around China. And if they are doing this stuff, you can't get around it. You know, if the CIA and the NSA were doing the same things, you can't get around it. You know, they're listening to us and doing things and embedding stuff in computers and in chips and networking cards. And, you know, so the reality is if they're doing it, what we need to do as a business and personally is protect yourself. There's ways to protect yourself.
Got you.
You know, your information, there's ways to protect your data, things like that. That's why I say data protection is our foundation, and we work upwards. Data privacy, we work with password management, we work with a lot of things, you know, networking security. There's a lot of layers of things that you do on top of your data protection that really makes you secure.
Yes, we're sorry. This is William Wheeler back from InvestCurb Real Estate Stocks, and it seems like we lost the feed with Seth, but we'll have him back on in a minute. And okay.
When you have dogs and you work from home.
Yeah, right. That's what we live in now. Well, let me ask you this though, because I mean, I like the points that you're making about China. I like the points you're making about data protection, and of course, you know, this is a real estate stock show, and we deal with the real estate sector, and a lot of people know that IT is kind of behind in real estate, which is a lot of times some of the information that I've received. You know, what is your understanding on that? You know, working with certain real estate companies and clients.
Well, it depends on the type of real estate you're into, because obviously there's different verticals within the real estate market itself. Obviously, you have regular real estate companies, you know, that are out there doing, you know, buying and selling houses to consumers. You start getting into real estate investment, you know, and things like that. You know, those people who are looking at, you know, stocks, and then you have people looking at, you know, large, multiple types of buildings or properties to do development, things like that, and then, you know, apartment buildings, things like that. So those type of real estate investors are different. The commercial real estate investors. So each of them are going to have a different issue, have different problems. But ultimately, one thing, and I always say, and this is why I said earlier, the common denominator with all businesses, they're going to be a couple of things. And one of the biggest things is going to be the data protection. If you're Keller Williams owner and you want to start somewhere, I would say start with data protection. If you are, you know, somebody who owns multiple properties or into multiple types of real estate investment and property management, things like that, same thing. Your data is key.
Yeah.
You know, how much, you know, how many properties you have, you know, who's renting or who's buying, things like that. You want to keep track of your data. You have a ton of data.
Now, when you talk about data protection, I'm sorry. When you talk about data protection, just to give our listeners a keen sense of what your direction is, data protection in regards to in case you have a fire, right? That's one hand of data protection, correct? Then you have another hand of data protection against getting hacked, things of that nature. Data protection in case hard drives fail.
Password management.
Yep.
You know, hardware protection, which is, you know, your local hardware, and also backups as part of data protection. So data protection as a foundation encompasses a lot of things.
Yep.
But one of the few things that we talk about initially, like the first couple of things, is data backups. And what we call continuity backups, and then we go into the whole world of business continuity and disaster recovery. But then, you know, you have your password management. You have, obviously, you need to make sure that your machines are up to date. And that gets into security, into cybersecurity, and things like that. But that foundation
Okay.
Who has access to it? Who has access to it? You know, is it, and where it's, and who can make changes? Who is authorized to make changes and deletions, things like that. Some companies, real estate companies, use different type of real estate software. Let's say a Keller Williams, they have an internal software, or they use some third-party software to manage their properties or the things that they're buying and selling, or they have as somebody is selling through them.
Well, you know what? You brought up a good point too, because being a real estate agent, I've always noticed that there's multiple softwares that the real estate agent and people in the real estate industry have to use. So, you may sign up to DocuSign, then you may sign up to your own broker's software. So you can end up with like, 8 different passwords, just to try to keep secure. And then when you talk about data recovery, you have your information in .loop, which has all your customers, like name, address, all their personal information, things of that nature. Then you have DocuSign that you got to send over your documents in. So you can end up having like 8 to 9 different programs that you work with. And how do you, I guess the listeners would like to know, how do you keep all that stuff protected? Because you all over the place.
Well, one, you need data protection, password protection software. All right. Any data that resides internally. Now, we're not talking externally on third party. Any data that you have internally, whether you save it on Dropbox, or you save it on G Drive or OneDrive, wherever, that needs to be protected. That needs to be backed up. When you have data within a third party software, whatever real estate software you're using, that in turn you need to make sure that the company that's doing that is backing up. Because what happens is they say we protect data, just like when people Google Drive or even Dropbox. Most people don't realize is they protect the environment. There's a difference between data protection using them and your backups. What the problem is their job, and it says it in their agreement, is they protect the environment, not your data. So if tomorrow something happens at Google and their drives go offline, and it's happened at Amazon where the drives have gone offline, that's not just too long ago, where they've gone offline and they've had issues for different reasons, some cybersecurity issues, or they've had because of maintenance issues, or they were doing updates. Whatever reason, those drives go offline, and your data's there, and it comes back and it's corrupted. That's not their responsibility. That's yours. All they have a responsibility is the environment. Your responsibility is the data. So that's why, even though you have Dropbox, people say, "Why do you have Dropbox? I back up the Dropbox." That is not backing up. You may use a software that's called backup, and it dumps it there in a file or wherever way it does, but that's not backup. Because that environment does not protect your data. They protect the environment. So you would need to go and get a Carbonite or one of those others that backs up your data, and they protect your data.
Got you.
It's their job to make sure your data does not get corrupted. That's the difference.
Got you. And that's on a like you said, on an enterprise level. And on a personal level, then your responsibility is you. Now, do you right now you just do enterprise level, right? You don't do personal.
I don't do personal. I do small businesses. I work with small businesses at times. But the reality is, Carbonite has, it's one of the smaller ones. But there are companies like Carbonite out there that will do backups. A ton of backup companies out there that will back you up online. And then you get into the huge enterprise level stuff that we do with Dado, and there are other companies out there that we can do online. But one of the biggest things is, depending on the size of your company, you want a hybrid approach. You want to have something local, and then you want to have something remote. And when we get into continuity backups for what happens if you, okay, I need a laptop, it's going to take 3 days to get here, what do I do? Well, when you're dealing with continuity backup, they already have a virtual setup in the cloud where you can literally turn it on within minutes and you have a virtual session of that laptop in the cloud where you can log in and start working literally within minutes. That's when we get into continuity backups. And a lot of times they have a hardware solution where the backup, the virtual session can be local to your machine, your node domain or your network, meaning internally.
Okay.
So that's one way. But there are different options as big as you want the revenue. But the thing is you want to be able to get to your data. You want to make sure your data is protected. And part of your data are your machines, your system management. So if that machine goes down, how quickly can you get back up and working? How quickly can you start doing something? And how quickly can you restore? If you have another machine to restore to, you can do a bare bones from the device that's in your office. That's what they call the hybrid. It's local and it's on the cloud. And it does a bare bones backup, a restore to your machine, and you're up and running within 30 minutes. If you tried to do that over the internet, it would take a long time. So that's why a hybrid would work. And with the virtual aspects added to the continuity backups, you can be up and running within minutes and do all these things in the background to get your machines back up and running. So that's part of what we talk about when it comes to data protection, and then you're starting to do the continuity restore or the business continuity stuff, disaster recovery. You can restore real quick and make sure you're doing it. Some people will use a Carbonite. Carbonite is always remote, and there's a few other remote companies. And let me rephrase that. I think Carbonite has a new plug-in for one of the Synologies, one of them, Synology boxes.
Okay.
I think they do have a plug-in for that. Let me rephrase that. So what it is you get there's a product you buy called Synology. It has a bunch of drives in it. You back up all your data to it, and then you plug it. You do the connection, the administrative connection in the back end to Carbonite, and from there, Carbonite will pull your backups from there. So it's a similar situation to what we're talking through data, but you control it. It's your equipment, but then you have to maintain it, manage it, and update it all the time. Synology has an update feature where it can update itself, but you still have to maintain that thing.
Okay.
So that's one aspect. Smaller businesses do that. So you can do that with your data and your backup and protecting. And then when we get into what you talked about, the password protection, with all these different, now we're going into third party, you need to manage that. One of the things are that there are tons of RoboForms. There's a few other companies out there that are giving you the ability to manage your password as a business. So I can sit there and say, okay, Will, you're one of my, you have a higher tier or higher authentication or authority. You're one of my managers or you're one of my directors. I give you full approval. So you can see the password and you can see, where it goes. Because when let's say if I have Dropbox.com, you have a link in there, you can click it, it takes you to Dropbox.com, and it fills out the username and password. But then let's say you have subordinates under you, somebody who's just a secretary, and then you can say, well, secretary has access, but they can never see the password. All they can do is click the link, and it goes to the internet, fills it in, they never see it. They have no ability to change anything, and that's where you manage that password through different password managers.
Okay.
And the passwords within the password managers, some of them will even tell you the password you just picked has been hacked already, meaning it's out on the internet, it's already out there, so you shouldn't use it. So there are things like that happen, and some of them will, we use the standard. It was minimum 8 characters, now it's 16. It should be 6. It's recommended to be 16 characters minimum. Alphanumeric characters. But if you get into passphrases is a thing that most people don't understand. It's a phrase, a bunch of words. You can be random words of various lengths, or you can use phrases from things you've read, things you know, wife, she's the best, things like that. And
Nothing
it should be
simple.
at minimum six words.
Yeah. Nothing simple, right?
It should be something you can remember. When you get into the problem with password manager, most people hate is that they have to come up with passwords. And even if they generate it, it's like, 5, with a parenthesis, QR, lowercase t, and then they get into these crazy things, and they're never going to remember that.
Yeah.
You're never going to remember that. So that's why they shortened it. So you have to make it simpler. So if you get into, there's tons of Dash Lane and a few of them that went into, what is it, One Pass? Yeah, One Pass. They started using pass phrases so that it automatically generates random words together, and you can most likely remember them.
Okay.
Just for instance, I have a password generator here where I can run one right now, and it'll show you right here. Backup, reorder, unscrew, elude, shortwave, foot pad. And then if I want, I can add in random characters and random numerical at the end, and it'll 6154. That's a password.
Okay.
And the graded end sign is in there also. So you can add how you want to do that. That's one way. Or you can say, one of my friends used it. I won't say his name. He has a daughter. Alexa is killing me. That's one of his things. He says, I'll be dead by 2014. That was what he had. It was years ago when he used it. And that's his daughter because she was just driving him insane all the time. She was a teenager.
Yeah.
So, so that was hysterical when he came up with that.
Well,
And,
Seth, let me ask you this.
People,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, what I was gonna.
So people always ask me about those type of things, and that's what I always recommend.
Okay. Now, what I was gonna ask you to do is, in a 2-minute market wrap up, right? Where do you see the IT? Where do you see the IT solutions going in the future? Because you've been doing IT for a while now, and where do you see IT going, in the future? I mean, right now we're talking to people through phones. We're actually doing video chats, which pretty soon I'm gonna have you back on here, and we're gonna be doing a video chat. Where do you see the future of IT, and of course, what's your intake on being that this is a stock show? Are you placing your bets on IT to keep going, or are you placing a little bit of your bets on the real estate sector? Had to throw that in there.
I'll answer that question first. Real estate in general is going to be, with everything going on, and real estate becomes a buyer's market. You know what I mean? When the economy goes down, that's when you buy real estate.
Yeah.
So as a real estate investor, as the stocks go down or you start seeing a downturn in physical real estate, it's probably the best time to start buying. You just don't know where the bottom is. You don't know where the bottom is. You don't know how long the bottom is going to stay. So that's one of the biggest risks with real estate. You don't know how long this is going to stay. But it will eventually turn up. And so that's where real estate investment, is going to, as we come out of this, real estate and real estate investment is going to, they're going to lead the way out. And you're going to come out with a boom, and people are going to make money hand over fist when they do come out. But there is a caveat to that. A lot of the large companies and investment groups, if they don't embrace technology well, if they're not moving into AI, predictive learning type stuff, understanding your customer base, understanding the markets, being able to read different things, pull data using AI, they're going to be left behind. If they're not investing in general, most companies are not investing in their IT, and they use IT. If they see IT as an hindrance instead of an ability to leverage and grow their market and within their market, that mentality, and we've seen it already, is going to be left behind.
True
IT
point.
is not anymore considered a stepchild. It is a partner in growth.
True point.
And without a good IT foundation or a good IT approach and looking at emerging technologies and emerging ideas and systems and things like that. If you don't embrace that, you're gonna get left behind.
Wow.
Well,
Can't even imagine, huh? But
It's happening already.
well,
yeah,
We're seeing it. You know, we're seeing it with a lot of the Keller Williams and all those real estate agencies. But they're losing money, and they're, you know, why is that?
yes,
Because
IT is
you got
behind.
Zillow competing against them.
Wow. Yep.
It's going to come to think about it right now. I can't think of the name of the company that I can go online, pick a car, pick it, the color, pick everything about it, say yes to whatever financing that I want, click it, and they'll deliver it to me within a few days. Right? A car.
Yep.
That's going to happen in real estate agencies soon. That's going to happen with real estate. I can be able to look at things online, do a virtual walkthrough of everything. Oh, that's great. And next thing you know, I can sit there and sign whatever documentation and whatever I need, get any inspection done, or maybe they'll do pre-inspections for you. You know, an independent company comes in, does all these inspections, puts the stuff online with the house. You already have it there. It's a third party, even though the buyer, the seller pays for it, they're considered independent.
Yep.
They pay for it. Boom. Next thing you know, Zillow is the one that is the intermediary. Zillow facilitates this, so the seller says, okay, we'll pay for that inspection. Zillow goes out and sends the inspector. The inspector says, okay, here's our report, puts it up. I come along, I look at it, do my virtual walkthrough through Zillow. Zillow says, okay, do you like it? Okay, do you have financing? Sure. We have financing, all that information's there. Let's cut this thing. I hit a button and go by, and within days they send me up. Your house is yours. Get your keys.
Yes, indeed. That's very wise. I understand that.
And when you start doing the same thing at the investment, you know, when you start doing developers and when you start doing, you know, large investors are getting a similar type of access in the sense that they can do things remotely. They can look at things, you know, through satellite records and drones and there's so many things that, and they can look at things like that. That industry, part of the industry, is going to boom. You know, if I'm an investor from Kentucky and I see some in Florida, you know, I can either get a rep down there or I can sit there and look at things remotely and make that deal.
And make that deal happen right then and there. Yep.
I have a, you know, ability to put a, you know, 200 apartment, you know, development together or whatever it is, and or work with 3 other investors and we jump into a project together. That's here and that's around the corner also.
You know what?
Companies are doing that now.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm sorry. Because one of the things that I was thinking about as you was talking about this, and we had a conversation about this in the past, and I know I want to make this quick, is the blockchain in real estate. And I was asking your opinion on that because you are a tech person. Do you see that in the future as well for real estate, as far as like people buying with, you know, Bitcoin and all these strange currencies, or maybe in the future someone will have a real estate currency?
Yeah, but see, blockchain is good in the sense that it's about records and data. Blockchains are great for that. It's about, you know, keeping track of data.
Because, you know, blockchains are getting hacked, like what happened with Obama.
Bitcoins, right, but Bitcoins and those currencies use blockchain in that sense that it's hard to fake currency or to fake the currency out because they're keeping such digital records within a database that has these rules and things like that they use. It's a distributed ledger, and the records are transactionally. There's a whole big thing about blockchain for real estate when it comes to moving money around. When it comes to moving money around for buying and selling, that blockchain may help. And in a sense also attracting, you know, Bitcoin and things like that, and all projects in development. I don't see it working in that.
But they're gonna need your help.
Williams, not really. But it will definitely help real estate in one of those REITs or any of the other ones out there that are, corporations that are major real estate buyers. Those things, it'll help them because it's about the transactions.
Gotcha.
And keeping that record and helping efficiently manage that and keep it from being from somebody getting in there and trying to defraud them. It's
Yes.
very secure conscience.
Okay.
So,
Definitely.
and I think Bitcoin's already involved in real estate, so I think it's just going to get more and more involved.
Well, with my concern with that was, okay, I mean, I hear a lot of cases come up that, these Bitcoin experiences are actually getting hacked by the dozens where, I mean, is it based on the actual programmer or the broker that these people are finding ways to steal? Yeah,
Software, it's a third-party software you use. It's not the Bitcoin itself. Remember, the whole thing behind Bitcoin is that the way it works is if you work with Bitcoin or people mine Bitcoin, there's an algorithm that has to be checked with Bitcoin servers within a set period of time to validate that it's real. And because that those algorithms, those tickets that they get or record, I forgot the term that they use, but there's a ticket you get that creates the Bitcoin. Those are far and few between. That's why when mining happens, they got to go out and find. It's like they go and do deeper. When this first came around, it was much easier to find a Bitcoin through algorithms to go out and create them. But now they can't because it's just harder, and that's why they need more power. That's why they need more equipment. But the ones that have them, what they're doing is they store them locally. They have some software that says, okay, I have Bitcoins, and if I get into that software that you have locally, because you use your password stupidly, and you get, somebody finds out through Amazon hack from 5 years ago your username and password, and they use that username and password on every Bitcoin site, repository site that they can find, and all of a sudden one of them goes through because the password you used 5 years ago hasn't changed. Now they steal your Bitcoin.
Wow.
Or they get into some of the storage companies, or they locate locally. One of the biggest things that IT guys are doing now, and a lot of guys who reclaim equipment, the first thing they do is go onto the machines and search for Bitcoin algorithms. Because if they can find it, they can take ownership of it.
Okay. Well, Seth, we're gonna wrap this up. I do appreciate the time that you spent with InvestCurb real estate stocks, and I mean, just a quick question out there. Who you going for? You going for tech or you going for real estate stocks within the next 6 months?
Real estate.
Got you. That's Seth Melendez, We're Geek Solutions, giving you his insight on password security, data protection, cybersecurity, and all of the above. You can reach out to him. You want to give him your contact information, Seth?
Yeah, you can contact me at info@weregeeks.com, and that's WAREGEEKS.com. And the number is 877-653-7146.
All right, that's Seth Melendez. Thank you, Seth. We'll have you back on next week.
All right, thank you, Will.
All right, thank you.